Welcome back. Today I'm going to be going over how I make my altar for Dia de los Muertos. So I'm going to go step by step and explain why is it that we, Mexican people and Latin American people in general, create this altar of the dead. It's an intermingling of two cultures, our Native American culture, our indigenous culture, with our Spanish culture, and we've intermingled these specific holidays, which is the 1st of November and the 2nd of November. It's All Souls and All Saints Day. Explain step by step on how I do this. So I'm going to go step by step and explain how I make an altar or an ofrenda for Dia de los Muertos. And so you could use any kind of box, crate. We have a little table here, and I have some scrap wood that I've utilized. You want to make sure at least you have 3 tiers, and there's a symbolism behind how many tiers you can use. You can use anybody from 3 and 5 tiers. In this particular case, I'm using 1, 2, 3, 4 tiers, and then I can utilize the bottom 2 as another tier. And so I'm going to go step by step and explain how and why we make our ofrenda, our altar for Dia de los Muertos. So the first thing after you've created your tiers, you want to go ahead and create your ark. You use papel picado or tissue paper. I personally made them, but you can go ahead and purchase them on Amazon too. And you want to get a small piece of wood to make an arch. It's believed that this is the entrance of where our deceased loved ones come through to visit us. Another thing is you want to have papel picado, and papel picado represents the wind. And so the 4 elements are going to be present. The first one we're going to be discussing, of course, is the wind, and when they move, of course, we see the wind itself. So after you have this, you're going to go ahead and get a cloth, and you're going to cover all of your altar. I'm just going to use a tablecloth that I'm going to be covering up the altar with, and I'll go ahead and show you what this looks like as I'm finished. So after I have my white cloth on that I put, I like to make it festive, and so I go ahead and put in a colored, very Mexican festive cloth in the center. One of the reasons this is a Native American celebration that we have, and the Native Americans would always remember their dead. When in the 1500s, our Mexican culture, our Spanish culture came into the country, we intermingled our Native American religious background with our Catholic identity, and we've kind of intermingled this celebration. So one of the flowers that we have to have are cempasúchil, which are marigold in English. And this flower is very, very important. It draws our loved ones back home on the celebration of the Day of the Dead. And usually we put them on the altar, around the altar, and then we make a pathway from our front door all the way outside. And this is to draw them back home. So there's 2 aspects, and there's a lot of symbolism that we put on our altar. The first is we have to have a crucifix somewhere here present, and then we begin the process of putting our pictures down. And this is actually a really healing process, because every individual that you put on the altar, you're kind of recalling who they were, what they liked, and then you're inviting them to come back into your home. They're always with us, but in this occasion, it's really special. I think that every family, every Mexican family, has an altar of some sort that they use in their house for these festivities. The next item is we have pan de muerto or pan dulce. And you want to put any kind of food that our loved ones liked on the altar. And this represents that they're coming home and you're going to prepare something that they like. Some family members prepare enchiladas, and they prepare a whole entire meal. And they get together with family on the Day of the Dead to celebrate them and to recall who they were. Next, we want to have water. Because of the long journey that we believe they had, we want to make sure that they have water when they return back. And so you want to have some symbol of water, and this is a jug full of water, and on the day of, go ahead and fill it up, the cup, and we have that at night for them. The next is salt. And you think this is kind of funny, but salt is very important. They need to replenish their bodies when they do return, and the symbolism of this is the salt that we have. And so right now we have our water represented here in the jug of water that we have. Our wind is represented in the papel picado. And so these are the two elements that we've dealt with so far. So the next element that we add on are our candles. Some I put electric and some I put real candles in, and then our skulls. This celebration is not a Halloween, and it is not a scary holiday. This celebration is a celebration of their life, and it's actually a beautiful celebration. It's a celebration of hope and of peace, and it's not morbid in any way. We as Hispanics, and throughout all of Latin America, really, we don't have a fear for death. Of course, we're saddened when our loved ones do leave us, but it's not about dying. It's about going to the other life, the afterlife, and that they will always be with us. And so the skull represents that, and the candle, of course, in some ways, it represents the element, but it represents that mingling together of our two religions, our indigenous culture and religion, and then our Catholic identity, which is all about the light of Christ. So we continue then to go ahead and put food elements in. My dad used to like these graham crackers, and then we put beer, tequila, whatever they liked, coffee, it could be whatever they liked in life. And so you kind of go back and try to think about, okay, what did they really like? And you place all of these items on your altar. And it represents this whole process of having them back and enjoying what they enjoyed. And one of the last things that we put, and on our altars, you have to have this. This is a copalera, which is copal, which is an incense that we use for this particular holiday. And we believe this celebration that we have to have the incense because there are prayers that go up to God and that they're answered by God. And so we put our copal on here. If you don't have copal, you could use another incense, but it's customary that we use copal on this particular holiday. And I purchased mine in Mexico, and I brought it, and I have enough for every year anyway to have here in the celebration. And this is pretty much our altar for the Day of the Dead, and which we celebrate all of our loved ones. And I hope that you have you put one up too, even if you're not Hispanic, even if you're not Catholic, to put up an altar and remember your deceased loved ones, knowing that they're always with you. We hope you enjoyed this video, and we hope to talk to you very soon.